Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. Today I have some nice juicy crypto news. It's your boy Trey from Barbados giving you the scoop. And I was doing some digging around on the internet and I found an interview with this guy Reggie Middleton. He is the founder of one of the founders of Veritaseum and also the patent holder for the DeFi protocol. He actually won the lawsuit. Um, it's very amazing, and he's here talking about a forensic analysis that has been done on Coinbase regarding a breach in I think it's a patent. So he's going to detail everything here, guys, and sit back and watch the video. You'll get more information. I'll post the links to the article and stuff in the description below.
And we are live for another Wednesday hump day edition of Foundations of DeFi. I'm your co-host Marlon. As always, I have the great Reggie Middleton, father of DeFi, with me. How you doing today, sir?
I'm all right. Yourself?
I'm doing good. I can't complain. You know, start a new job next week. So this week at my last job has just been, hey, checking boxes.
Okay. Well, I guess that myth about employment being sparse is just not valid for the hyper intellectuals among us, huh?
Nah, not at all. I'm just going, hey, look, where the money at, that's where I'm going to go. So, sir, I think we have some exciting news that we've been waiting on for the past couple of weeks. But I've seen on your Boom Bust blog site that you have dropped the Coinbase forensic report.
I have.
And this is not just a preview. This is the full 115-page report, correct?
Or so, 114, 115, something like that. It's a lot of words.
You know, people don't like words. They need charts nowadays, Reggie.
It's a lot of charts too. I put pretty pictures in there for the TikTok, Instagram crews. It's a little bit of everything, you know.
So while I pull that up, where do you want to start off with it? You know, I know you had some we've seen bits and pieces of your report over time and we've discussed some things, but is there anything in particular that you want to start off and highlight?
I mean, it's basically an amalgam of the stuff I've been discussing over the last few months. You know, it's sort of a it is what it is event. I just put it all in one document, and some of it is a little more explicit. There's 45 pages dedicated just to IP, not patents, but IP, because the crypto world seems to have forgotten that IP is what powers crypto, period, almost solely. So, you know, we have Trademarks and Birkin, and they're going after guys for infringing on Hermes, going after guys infringing on the Birkin brand. We got Nike and StockX. We have True Return Systems going after several DAOs, Mega DAO, Compound DAO, etc. And they're really going after the VCs that funded them, but the DAOs are in the way. We have Voldemort, you know, whose name should not be mentioned. I have nothing against the guy. He does seem to be a little abrasive with the mouth, but you know, unlike everybody else, I could care less.
It's like Candyman. You look in the mirror, say his name 3 times, might pop up to your Bitcoin.
Basically, as I explained before, there are 3 patent families that exchanges should be paying attention to. I put them all in one report, and I put references to them. Some of them are quite verbose. I put the entire complaint from True Return Systems in the report, so you can read it. And I even put a notice letter that came from a company whose founder is extremely handsome.
I don't know. Who is this guy? Never heard of him.
Yeah, it's tall, brother. You know, you may or may not hear of him because for some reason the media doesn't want to cover it. I told you that for the crypto media to avoid this would be very interesting. So if you read through the report, go to page 91 or 92, start reading. And
just to show the people real quick, the website again is boombustblog.com. And as you can see right here on the front page, we have the 114-page Coinbase forensic report. From clicking on here, and it's free download, people. You ain't got to buy it. Reggie has put this information out to the public for free, and you can download it for free.
That was at least at least $18,000 of work, probably more like 25,000, 30,000. So
Whew.
just keep that in mind.
And that sounds like free game for a lot of people, especially if they're in the space. Like, hey, go ahead and take a dive into this research. And then I already downloaded it. So I got this little screen bar on the way. I'm going to pull up the report. He said page 91, correct?
91 and 92.
All right. This doggone Zoom bar is in the way.
Or you could just tell them what it says.
I want, people like to see things, Reggie. I want them to see it as we talk about it. So page 91 of the report, we see here that Veritaseum, an investor-led consortium of companies, is working with that tall, handsome brother, Mr. Middleton, to administer to administer the 2 patents worldwide. And here you have the abstract, which we've discussed before, but I want to point to this last part you have on this page. Veritaseum believes several centralized and decentralized digital asset exchanges employ devices, methods, and systems which may use unlicensed patent IP. Coinbase Global is one of those exchanges. At least one patent holder has proffered notice to Coinbase, referenced below, and they have acknowledged said notice. So I think this is what the people have been waiting on, Reggie. They've been waiting to hear when he's going to put these folks on notice. And here in the report, for free, we have the public documents. Well, I don't know. I guess you're making it public now with this.
Public now. If it wasn't public, it's public if you just blasted it on YouTube. So.
So as we see here, the firm representing Veritaseum has sent this notice over to Coinbase, pointing out specifically which claims of the patents that they possibly infringe upon, and asking to take notice of this notice, or acknowledge this notice, excuse me. So Reggie, I do have one question though. With your name being on the patents, how does this work with the law firm representing Veritaseum? Is Veritaseum's name still on the patents as well, or just your name?
That's all legal stuff. That's not for me to discuss on YouTube, but everything is together and legit. Trust me. Got you.
So what do you have to say about this? All the naysayers and haters, they've been screaming at you.
Could care less about naysayers and haters. Most naysayers and haters don't know their way around financial statements and know very little about intellectual property protection. So what am I supposed to listen to? Naysayers and haters, or people know what they're talking about? If you take a look at that list, read that paragraph above that bulleted list and then go down that bulleted list.
All right. Regarding your use of the Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, Ethereum, Solana platforms, as well as NFTs for your products and offerings that run on top of and facilitate said platforms, we direct your attention to one or more of the claims of U.S. patent numbers, as well as other claims from the Japanese patent number. Your products and offerings that are covered by U.S. patent and Japanese patent include, but are not necessarily limited to, Coinbase Exchange, Coinbase Pro Exchange, wallet, NFT, everything that us people do in the crypto community is listed right here.
That is one hell of a notice. If you take those away, think about what any exchange we have left.
Just a login.
So, and this is not adversarial. This is not threatening. Simple business. I'm just an entrepreneur and an inventor. But I've been warning people for quite some time now that intellectual property has not been taken seriously in this space. And that is a no-no. If you look at every major DeFi exchange, every DEX and lending protocol, et cetera, almost all of them have started implementing intellectual property protections. They ran closed source, what they call a business license, that's closed source. And it's not a bad thing or a good thing. It's simply prudent business. Without doing that, you'll be driven out of business. When the big guys come, they're going to take your open source stuff and they're going to create a closed source product and they're going to wipe you clean with it. Okay? You can give your stuff away for free if you own and control it. If you don't control it, own it, your only choice is to give it away or have it taken. And that's what it is. I personally can't give my life's work away for free. I can't afford it.
I understand that. You got to protect your own.
I also choose not to do it as well, but I also can't afford it. But I do. I am quite philanthropic, trust me.
So now that the notice, has been sent to Coinbase, and we just made it public today. What are the next steps in the process? Not to be, say what you can or say what you know, but just curious, what are the next steps, throughout this process?
For the last year and a half, I've been grinding along this IP implementation thing. So the next steps have already been implemented. The stuff that you see is stuff that was in the works roughly a year ago. Coinbase is far from the only entity that's received notice. Some entities will be receiving actual legal documents because they decided not to have a discussion or do business. And those who do have a discussion, very easy to talk to, very reasonable, empirically, arithmetically driven. I use spreadsheets. I'm very easy to do business with, and I'm a strong proponent. I believe I'm the creator of peer-to-peer capital markets. So the concept of bring down the banks, decentralized, self-sovereign currency, that's really not the reality. The reality is the largest investor in the space, Digital Currency Group, is owned by money center banks, the vast majority. The largest property holder in the space, which will probably be consensus, is owned probably either strategically or majorly by JP Morgan. That's my guess, because I'm not into their internal documents, but my guesses tend to be pretty good. So, out with the old and in with the old.
I'd never heard nobody put it that way before. I want to ask you, one thing you said was that, others may receive actual legal action. So is a notice just a formal, just, hey, here's what the research shows, or here's our observations are, It's in your ball court now. So that's not technically a legal action. It's just I guess a formal professional notice, right?
And it's also, there's a legal strategic reason to give it as well, but it's a professional heads up. But there's a legal reason to give a professional heads up. But I don't want to get into that because actual legal strategy and things such as that is not to be discussed publicly.
Right. Oh yeah, we done seen folks get caught up doing that. Yeah. We can't have you get caught up, Reggie.
Yeah.
So with that, once again, hey, everybody, it's public now, it's noticed. Stay along for the show, and pay attention to the economy, to the ecosystem, because this is going to be very important going forward. And as always, we will keep up with this news.
Okay, you're actually the first YouTuber me to concern to break this. You broke it before I got a chance to break it. So, can't got to do anything for gentlemen in crypto, right?
Hey, I need King Soundboard. I could put some round of applause in here.
And you're miles ahead of CoinDesk and Cointelegraph, and they were giving notices. So, kudos. This, and I don't want everybody to get caught up in what they think patent and intellectual property, prosecutions about. This can easily propel the companies who cooperate much faster into the future. Outside of the fact that I have a lot of ideas, and I think my ideas are innovative, and I have the first and third most powerful patent offices in the world concur, arguably first and second, all depends where you think you are between Europe and Japan. But there's a lot that could be done with cooperation and licensing, a lot. So this is accretive and not dilutive, or productive and constructive and not destructive. And the only reason it could ever be destructive is fighting. And I don't like to fight. So.
Well, I thought you did jujitsu.
No, I actually did Jido Kwan, which was a very combative form of Taekwondo, and a little Hapkido, and a little this and a little that.
Well, I thought you don't like to fight though.
I don't like to fight, believe it or not. I actually had a fight, believe it or not, for the first time in what, decades of my life. Walking down the street, some guy literally throws me off of a skateboard, with a stick, slams it into the wheels. I get up, look at him, and then he attacks me and rushes me. He throws me to the ground.
This is recent?
This is about a month ago. I got bruises all over my knees.
What?
I'm like, what's going on? And I let everybody get away with everything. I am Mr. Pacifist. But after he knocked me off and I was hurt, and then he threw the remote on top of the roof of some building, and then attacked me and rushed me, I'm like, okay. So I choked him out and beat him pretty bad. And then he pulled a knife out on me.
Oh, this sounds like a real
one of those
New York.
days.
This is a
But
real
he was
New
afraid
York
to come
City
near me
story.
with a knife because of what he caught. And then, as luck would have it, the audience called the police, and he got locked up, and the DA just caught me. So don't mess with people. I'm a pacifist.
Wow.
I'm a pacifist, but a pacifist who's rather skilled. So, but pacifist nonetheless.
I expect you to tell me that story, right?
Yeah. I am probably the most peaceful person I know, because I really do not believe in fighting violence. I have, my baby girl to go home to, would never, but this guy just would not stop until he caught it. So I gave it to him, FedEx style, special delivery.
Hey, next day air.
No, his is immediate, but it's embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing. So,
I'm glad that you're all right.
He's mixed up upstairs, unfortunately.
I'm glad you made it out of that without, anything too serious.
Yeah, it's just amazing it happens. I'm walking out of a drugstore, and it just happens. It's absolutely amazing. What a story, right?
Right. I'm telling you, that sounds like a real New York story, though. Hey, so I did want to circle back, pun intended, on a discussion with Circle and USDC, and I saw. Let me pull it up right here. But the co-founder and CEO Jeremy Allaire, I think that's how you pronounce his name.
Allaire, yeah.
So he put out a tweet, and I don't know if he heard you talking or some other people talking, but there were a few people talking. And as you see here, right, the streets is talking, but as you see here, as part of our commitment to increasing transparency and disclosure around today, we are publishing our first monthly breakdown of the USDC reserve assets by each and every treasury bond and list of cash reserve custodians. So just looking at this list, we see the treasury bonds and the maturity date and the market value of those bonds. Well, if my computer will load it up, here we go. And so what are your thoughts on this? Did USDC, start feeling the pressure from just outside noise and decided to, hey, it's a lot of stuff going on. We need to go ahead and step out in front of this, or what's your thoughts on this?
Well, he definitely felt the pressure because he didn't do it before the Twitter Roddy started, chirping. And there are a lot of USDC and Circle defenders. I don't know what relation they have with Circle, but they called everything and anything that was critical FUD. That's not the way to do it. FUD is FUD. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt, when it's spread on purpose, is FUD. But at least the questions I asked were very, very valid and not too many credible answers. For instance, first of all, kudos goes out to the CEO, Jeremy, for coming clean. It was probably his hand was forced, but he still did it. Kudos, did better than everybody else, number one. Okay. Number two, it doesn't allay the questions that I asked, or it doesn't put those questions to bed. I'll discuss that in a minute. But what he showed was that practically all of the USDC liabilities are backed by cash reserves, US dollar cash or cash equivalent, treasuries with I think average maturity under 4 months. I don't have it memorized, but that's good. That's pretty good.
And it looked like about 20% was in cash reserve and 80% was in the treasury bonds.
Right.
Roughly.
Now, that raises another big question because my initial concern was this stuff is all on Circle's balance sheet, which means that it could be caught up in bankruptcy proceeding if they were insolvent. And that means that creditors could get a hold of the reserves that are supposed to be back in USDC tokens. And I was told that, well, it's in segregated accounts in the banks, et cetera. There's no documentation showing and proving that, number one. And that's a very, very big call, right? It's a very big if. That's something should be documented. Number two, let's suppose that's true. Bank accounts don't hold treasuries. So if what you said is true, 80% of it is in treasuries, 20% is in cash, well, then 80% of it is not segregated and 80% of it is up to grabs if they were forced into a bankruptcy filing. Okay, as a matter of fact, since Circle is the only minter, burner, and redeemer of USDC tokens, if Circle were to be forced into a bankruptcy or voluntarily go into it and there's an automatic stay, or Circle just goes bye-bye, how do you get your tokens? How do you redeem tokens? So I think if I was a bankruptcy judge, I would put an automatic stay in. If someone says, well, I'm a client and I'm a USDC client and I'm trying to redeem my tokens, and I'd say, no, automatic stay, everything is frozen, status quo until we get to see what happens. That means that you've lost access to your dollars. Maybe not permanently, but for right now, you've lost access to it. Any access over 24 hours means not AAA risk, period. Okay. The biggest risk is not in what Circle is backing USDCs with. So showing the reserves is good, but that's the second biggest risk. The biggest risk is Circle, which is a junk rating, in my opinion. And most crypto startups are, so I'm not knocking Circle, but crypto startups are very, very risky endeavors. Okay. And you have to take the risk of the administrator and operator, you have to blend that with the risk of the reserve assets, because it's all one pie. Even if you attempt to segregate it, it's very difficult. The way to do it properly is to have the administrator of the tokens, a separate company with a separate balance sheet, okay, with no more than a minority holding of Circle, and fully funded, $50, $30 million, and it does nothing but mint, burn, and redeem tokens. Nothing fancy, no going out on yield curves, just doing that. It's not going to make much money. It's going to be boring, but it's going to be safe. And then Circle could take all the other companies and do whatever fancy they want with it. If you do options and futures and DEXs and yield curve, management, whatever rehypothecation of, apple pie and whatever they need to do. But the actual tokens, minting, burning, and redeeming, and reserving is plain vanilla and out of everybody's reach. That's not the way it's put together. That's not the way any of them are put together. And the operating company has all this stuff on the balance sheet, and they take material risks, like offering up to 12% yield powered by Bitcoin. That's about as risky as it gets to. You know what I'm saying? Hey, it doesn't get much riskier than that, man.
At this point, we've already seen stable coins that were backed by Bitcoin burn. So, if nobody else notices that and kind of adds that, if you don't learn from one thing, hey,
but you don't learn from it. You know something that's stable backed by Bitcoin is automatic. That's something white backed by black, or something up backed by down. That's, you don't need to know anything. Once someone says that, you should stop reading and go somewhere else,
Yeah, I hear you, Reggie. Well, I know we had to cut today short, but appreciate your time today. And are you going to go live on your channel to discuss more about the report at all today or this week?
I will. I'll try to do it today. It's going to be super duper informal. Probably walking outside, getting sunshine, but you can ask me questions. Okay.
Cool. So make sure y'all, everybody, check out Reggie's YouTube channel.
Or by Twitter, actually. I'll be on Twitter now, soon. So just at Reggie Middleton, hit me up for discussion.
No problem. Everybody, appreciate y'all for checking in. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Check out the other Gentlemen of Crypto shows, and also make sure to check out Reggie's Twitter and YouTube for any updates.